Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? Been a minute. Back here with another video. Not a big NBA guy, but I love college basketball. Anybody knows me, you know how much I love the Duke Blue Devils. And NBA draft is tonight. It's a big draft for a couple teams that I root for. I'm a Hawks fan. I also root for the Wizards a little bit. Wizards got the number one overall pick. It's a big draft for them. I think there's a pretty clear pick. But anyways, we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, we're probably just gonna go to 15 here. Pretty much just gonna draft the lottery. To be honest, I don't feel like I am knowledgeable enough to make more than 15 picks. Um, yeah, especially with the names after here. I know some of these guys like Bennett Sturts and Isaiah Evans and Henry Vassir and Terrace Reed, man, what he did to Duke. Anyways, yeah, let's get into this. The number one overall pick, um, is pretty easy here. It's AJ DeBonsa. His year at BYU was ridiculous. He started off on an absolute tear. It looked like he could average, maybe 30, cooled off a little bit. But he's a complete player. He will fit really well here in Washington. They just gave Trey Young the bag. They got him at the one. Put DeBonsa at the three. If they get a healthy Anthony Davis, this team could look to make some noise in the East. But I'm looking forward to the future here in Washington. It looks pretty bright. The second pick, the Utah Jazz, should be Darren Peterson. Peterson had a weird year at Kansas. Really weird year. Didn't play a lot, but when he did play, he was really good. He's not the most efficient guy, but his game fits the NBA really well. He's a great scorer. He's great off the dribble. He can get a shot. That's a thing that the Jazz really need. You've got some good pieces there in the front court, but you really are lacking a true scorer that you've kind of missed since you've had Donovan Mitchell. So I like Darren Peterson there at number two to the Utah Jazz. And at three here, my guy Cameron Boozer here to the Memphis Grizzlies. I love Boozer, man. Just love him. He's a good player. He's really mature in the way he plays and the way he carries himself. There's a little bit of buzz about, oh, is what position is he going to play in the NBA? Is he a four? Is he a small five? Is he a big three? I think he's a perfect four in the NBA. He's an offensive first guy. He's really strong. He can shoot. And if I had to give him a comp, this sounds a little weird, but stick with me. He's kind of if like Lauri Markkanen was more of a post player, if that makes sense. He can shoot. He's strong. He's good off the dribble. He kind of like just reminds me of Lauri Markkanen for some reason. If Markkanen was a more post dominant player, but I love Cameron Boozer. I think he's going to fit really well here in Memphis. There is some buzz about him maybe going number two overall because his dad is in the front office there in Utah. But I think the top four picks are pretty much set in stone with Caleb Wilson going fourth. As much as I hate to say this, I really like Caleb Wilson. His game is really good. He kind of reminds me um, a lot of Brandon Ingram coming out of Duke, but much more efficient. Wilson, can get to a spot in the mid range, pull around, do a little, 15 footer. He still needs to work on his shot. But the Bulls here, I think, get a guy that you feel really comfortable with coming into this locker room. Wilson's a super likable guy. He's always super happy in interviews. Just I think he'll bring good vibes to Chicago. And if Chicago, man, they've been in the gutter for a long time now, and they keep kind of picking in the same area here. Whether it be 3 to 10, and they haven't really done much. Um, but I like Caleb Wilson a lot. I think he's a good player, and I think he'll be a good fit in Chicago. So, pick five here is where I think the draft starts. The Clippers are a team of unks. And this pick here is interesting. There you could go with, Keaton Wagler, big guard, Kingston Flemings, point guard, Acuff, Mikael Brown. There's a lot of guards here that I think are really good. I don't think we're going to see Addy Marigo yet, or Addy Mark, excuse me. If this was up to me, I'm taking Darius Acuff. I think his game fits the NBA the most out of these kind of top three guys who I think he could be here. He is a ball dominant scorer, was really good in John Calipari's offense here at Arkansas. And I think he'll fit well here. He can play the one, he can play the two. I think he's more comfortable as a ball dominant guard. Honestly, I don't know what that'll look like coming into Los Angeles with a pretty crowded guard rotation, but I think Acup's the best player here, and he can, easily give you 15 a game as a rookie. The sixth pick, we got the Brooklyn Nets. This is a pretty easy pick for me. I think it's got to be Keaton Wagler. Wagler really came on at the end of the year, started turning heads in the Big Ten championship game, really started turning heads in the NCAA tournament before Illinois got eliminated. Wagler's good. He's a big dude. He's a competitor. He kind of fits the modern mold of what teams look for in a guard who can defend multiple positions, who can kind of score in multiple spots. I think he still has a lot of ways to improve as a overall defender and as a overall just pure guard, but the size, the intangibles, and kind of how he came on at the end of the year, I think is a good fit for Brooklyn. The seventh pick, we got the Sacramento Kings. I've been back and forth on whether I think this is going to be Flemings or Mikael Brown Jr. I am going to go with the Kings and Flemings, though. I think Brown Jr. might come in and maybe be a little bit more productive immediately, but Kingston Flemings is a guy who I really like. Again, kind of in the same boat as Wagler. He's a bigger guard, but he's a little different than Wagler. He's a better overall ball handler. He's a better passer, and I really like Kingston Flemings. He's kind of my guy in this draft that I like, and I think he could really kind of fit the hole that's been missing with De'Aaron Fox leaving. They're really missing this athletic guy who can not only go get you a bucket, but can facilitate and be the captain of the team. So really like Kingston Flemings there at 7. All right. So we got my favorite team here, the Atlanta Hawks. They picked twice in this draft. They also pick, I believe, somewhere in the mid 20s. But they got a high pick here. This was a team that made the play-in. No, they didn't make the play-in. They went straight to the playoffs. They, ran into the Knicks, unfortunately. But the Hawks are looking good. You just re-signed CJ McCollum. Before that, I was like, do they maybe look to get one of these guards if they're still available, like Brown? But I think this is Ademora. Mara is massive. He doesn't really fit the mold of what NBA center is these days. He is an offensive first guy. He's not, super athletic, but he's really big. He's going to dominate in the post. He's going to get rebounds. He's going to block shots. And this is what I think the Hawks are missing. They're really missing a pure 5. I like Onyeka Okongwu, but sometimes he struggles a little bit on defense because he's only 6'9". He makes up for it in other ways. But I think with Amara and Okongwu here, you got a really good pairing in the front court that can not only, kind of help on offense, but I think if taking Mara here lets you lighten up the load on Okongwu and lets him operate more as a 4. And the way he shot the ball last year was ridiculous. So I think if you let Okongwu operate more on the perimeter and get Mara in there inside, I think is a good fit for CJ McCollum and Jalen Johnson and company. Pick 9, the Dallas Mavericks. You got Cooper Flagg, you got your guy. So now how do we draft around Cooper Flagg? I don't think it's Michael Brown Jr. because Brown Jr. is a super ball dominant guy, and you got Cooper Flagg. Flagg might not be the guard, but he's going to take the most shots. He's going to score the most points. And I think you draft around that, and you get a guy that complements him well. And to me, that's Braden Burries. Burries didn't really stick out a lot last year at Arizona. He was super solid, though. It was a big reason why that team was super good and made a run in the NCAA tournament. He's a safe pick. He can guard multiple positions. He's an overall just solid player. And like I said, I think the Mavericks here, you might, maybe they, bet on the potential of Nate Met. Maybe they bet on the potential of the Barry and Phil on. But I think the safest pick is Burries simply because he does a lot of things that you like that a lot of these guys might not be able to. He's young. He's a good defender. And he's a safe pick. And I think that's what the Mavericks do here. The 10th pick, the Bucks. The Giannis Antetokounmpo dynasty is over. It's over. Probably a few years too late. He's gone. He's on the Heat now, and they're in rebuild mode. And with that being said, I think you go Nate Ament here. Ament, coming into the year, looked like he was a top 5-ish pick. He struggled a little bit at Tennessee. he wasn't as efficient as you'd like. Um, he definitely looks to be a ball dominant guy in the NBA, and I think that's what you want now. You got Tyler Hero, got Jaime Jaquez, but I think you get practically a big guard here, um, who can be ball dominant. He needs to improve his defense. He needs to maybe get a little bit stronger, but the ceiling is off the charts with Nate Bent. And shout out to the Nova product. His dad was my French teacher in high school. I mean, what are the chances of that? But yeah, shout out Nate Bent. The 11th overall pick, the Warriors are jumping for joy that Mikael Brown Jr. is available now. If the Warriors want to, kind of let Steph Curry ride out into the sunset, this is a great pick here. You can get Brown to also help lighten the load off of Curry here. Can be a ball handler. He's just the best overall player, and I think the Warriors are super happy. This pick, the 12th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder. There are a couple guys kind of later down the line here that I think could honestly go a lot earlier. I think there's some bias, but Isaiah Evans might be the best pure shooter in the draft. Pete was a big reason why Arizona was really good last year. Terrace Reed is just a pure center, really strong, old school. But with the Thunder here, and you look at their team, I think one of the reasons why they didn't do as well in the playoffs this year was because sometimes it just felt like it was give the ball to Shea and let everybody else kind of just, stand around. And one guy that I think could help out with this is LeBarion Philon Jr. Philon's a really good player. He, I think, could come in, instantly be a backup guard to Shea. He's not Alex Caruso. He's not, a defender first. He's a scorer first. He's a good passer. And I think it would help the Thunder be a more well-balanced team and, would be able to help Shea not have to dribble the ball however many times a game he does. The Bucks again here. You're getting the Heat pick, and Yaxel Lindenberg is still here. And because you take Nate Ament, I don't think you double up on this forward position. I think they take a shot at a guy that I really like, who really kind of flew under the radar a lot in college. He transferred a couple times, was a really high recruit, but it's Jaden Quaintance. Quaintance is a ridiculous, ridiculous athlete. He reminds me a lot of Onyeka Okongwu, but more of a post-dominant player. He has elite athleticism. He's a great defender, and he ideally probably is more of a four in the NBA that's a really just a lock guy. He can probably guard anywhere from the 1 to 5. But I think Quaintance is the best player here, and the Bucks are really happy getting Ament and Quaintance here in the top 13 picks. The 14th pick, we got the Charlotte Hornets. I like the Hornets, man. They've got some good pieces on that team. They're really, really lacking some post play, and Yaxel Lindenberg falls here. Lindenberg was arguably the best player in college basketball last year. He is an older prospect. He is very experienced, though, and I think the Hornets here are okay with taking an older prospect with the makeup of their roster. Obviously, you got LaMelo Ball. You've got Konkanippel, who was ridiculous last year, outperformed what a lot of people thought he was going to. And then you get Lindenberg here, who is an offensive first player, but he fits what the Hornets do. The Hornets might not play any defense, but if they add Lindenberg, they can drop 130 on you a night. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, with the last pick here in the lottery, honestly, the 14th pick might be the last pick, but I said I was going to do 15 anyway. And with the 15th pick here, I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer. With the 4th pick, the Bulls took Caleb Wilson, and I think the Bulls here really need to address the guard position. You lost Ayo Dosunmu. Look what he is doing in Minnesota now. I don't know if Kobe White's the guy. And I think you're just looking to kind of get the best guard available who can give you buckets. And that's a Bennett Sturts, you guys. If anybody doesn't know who Bennett Sturts is, just go watch any of Iowa's games last year. He was the only player literally doing anything for that Iowa team. He was the only reason they made the NCAA tournament. I think they might have won a game. I could be wrong. He's a bucket getter. He was a transfer. He's a lights out shooter when he's on. He's a little inconsistent. He can get to his spot. I like Bennett Sturts, and I think he fits what the Bulls need. They need a guy who can go out and give you 15 a night as a rookie. And yeah, so that's my top 15 picks here in the draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to win the NBA championship next year. As I said, I'm not a big NBA guy, but I'm a big college basketball guy, and I really don't know much about the foreign prospects like Kareem Lopez. There's like Sergi Delaria. I thought, wow, Manuel Sharp really fell off, kinda. But yeah, there's a lot of really good players in this draft, man. Milos Uzan, Quadir Copeland. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, you guys. It's been a minute here with the videos. I'm going to try and get back to posting a little more regularly. Be on the lookout for a NFL preview. It's going to come out soon for the whole league. Super excited for that. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.